Hi, my name is Olivia Phillips. I worked on this study here, Degrees of Separation, Self and Other and Compassion. I am interested in social psychology, which is what led me to this research lab and led me here today at EPA. I worked on this study with my peers Michaela Kovalovich, Ashley Fish, Alexander Koopman, and our professor Dominique Trebeau. The purpose of this study here was to differentiate the relative influence of connection to proximal and distal entities on prosocial orientation. Now, compassion is a feeling that arises when witnessing another person suffering and has been associated with prosocial orientation. Compassion encompasses a few things: empathy, sympathy. It taps into concern and caring for others. Empathy being this ability to relate and understand what one may be going through, drawing from their own personal experiences, whereas sympathy is this idea that one can feel bad for another person suffering without enlisting personal experiences and having this attachment to that other. Now, part of this is this idea of social connectedness. Social connectedness is feeling close to others, having a sense of belongingness within the social world, and this connection can be experienced in different types of relationships. It can be experienced in close interpersonal relationships. It can be experienced in more distant relationships and more abstract entities. When reviewing the literature, research suggests that this idea of prosocial orientation differs within proximal and distal relationships, and that may be due to the low emotional investment that is in distal relationships. Now, this study here we did with a sample of college students. About 70% of them were female, and the large majority of them came from Long Island. So I'm going to show you part of our poster board and explain and go through our study. Now, to look at people's connections, we use the inclusion of other and self measure by Aaron, and Smolin. These circles represent the level of connection. So we asked participants in terms of mother, stranger, community, humanity, and God. The question we asked was, please circle the picture below that best describes your connection to blank, one of those 5 predictors. We counterbalance the order of these across the participants. To get at compassion, we showed 4 photographs with a description of either a Syrian or a Mexican. And again, these photos were counterbalanced among all participants. Everyone received 2 Syrians and 2 Mexicans. 1 Syrian single, 1 Syrian family, 1 Mexican single, and 1 Mexican family. After, participants were asked to rate their compassion on a scale of 1 to 5, and a question about donation from $0 to $100. So first we looked at how connected to people we feel across these distal and proximal relationships. So the graph that you're seeing in front of you shows you people's strongest connection. People's strongest connection was with their mothers, followed by humanity, community, God, and then, as you see, the least towards strangers. Next, when we looked at the relationship between these social connections, how connected we are to these entities, we see that the close social network has really limited relationships with compassion to strangers, which is people we don't know. Whereas feelings about humanity is related to compassion. And interestingly, God was not related to compassion. What we're really seeing here is that they are all not equal. Next, we see connection to mother is related to connection to community, and connection to mother is related to God. So this is talking about the interrelationships of these dimensions. They seem to be far more interrelated with feelings of community, and that is related to all aspects. Even though these are related to each other, the only one that predicts feelings towards these migrants was humanity. So with all of that, our study was a correlational study, so we can't really say which leads to which, but what we're really trying to get at, which may be a flaw of the design, is how people develop compassion towards people that are very different than themselves. Does it emerge from our connection to our family, our connection to humanity, our connection to community, strangers, God, whatever that may be? We're really trying to explore the differential contribution of these predictors on prosocial orientation. So with that being said, I want to say thank you for watching the video and taking the time out of your day to do so. I want to thank those who worked on the project with me, who I introduced in the beginning, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of EPA. So, bye.